Earlier this year, Denmark banned ashwagandha. Let's take a look at the reasons why and assess whether this was a well thought out, highly intelligent move. Ashwagandha, for those unfamiliar, is an ancient herb with roots in Ayurvedic medicine, a traditional Indian system that's been around for 3,000 plus years. Today, it's become a popular supplement worldwide, with many studies pointing to a host of different benefits, ranging from stress relief to improved energy and thyroid health, hormone health, reproductive health, and more. But before we get into it, please do me a huge favor supporting our channel by hitting the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a penny. Now, Denmark's decision to ban ashwagandha was primarily based on a report by the Danish Technical University. This report shared concerns about the herb's effects on thyroid and sex hormones, and even suggested that it might induce abortions. But here's where it gets interesting. This report didn't present any new data. It merely cherry-picked past studies. And also with ashwagandha, depending on what part of the plant you use and how you extract it, you're going to get significantly different results in the body. The traditional way, with thousands of years of safe use, is to do a water extract of the root of the ashwagandha plant. But the Danish analysis made no distinction between whether studies were using roots or leaves or berries, and also depending on what you use to do the extraction, like whether you use water or alcohol or other solvents, you're going to get totally different products in the end. The Danish report looked at 8 studies assessing the effects on sex hormones, and 7 of these studies showed normalizing or balancing effects, which is exactly what makes ashwagandha so great. But the study that got these guys concerned was this one. In this study, they used an ethanol extract of ashwagandha. So as far as I'm concerned, this is not really relevant even because it's not the normal water extract. But let's look at it anyways. First, they took the sperm of male albino rats and they put it into a petri dish, and they put ashwagandha ethanol extract into that petri dish with the sperm. Now let me remind you, the correct way of consuming ashwagandha is oral consumption. This is not something that guys should be injecting into their balls. They also gave the ashwagandha extract to the rats and found that they produce fewer offspring. But we have to look at the dosage here. And this is going to be a big part of the conversation. If you're going to study something right, you have to get the dosage right, or at least be somewhat in the right ballpark. In this study, they had them consume either 25 or 50 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. If we apply this to the average human weight of 181 pounds or 82 kilos, that would mean taking between 2,000 and 4,000 milligrams of the extract per day. But the normal amount for an adult human to consume would be like 250 to 300 milligrams once or twice a day. So we're looking at somewhere in the range of 4 to 15 times the right dose. Now, even with something as safe and healthy as pure water, if you have 15 times the healthy amount of water each day, you're probably going to have some issues that come up in your body. And again, this was an ethanol extract used here, so it's not really even relevant. Then one other study that got them concerned was this one, where they found that a methanol extract of ashwagandha had a negative effect on sex drive of male rats. Now, if you thought that last study was bad, wait until you hear this. First of all, the researchers said that this effect wasn't because of any effect on hormones like testosterone or because of any kind of toxicity, but that it was probably just because the ashwagandha was making these rats very relaxed. Now, remember how I said it's important to look at the dose? In this study, they were giving 3,000 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. Now, I criticized that last study for using between 4 and 15 times the right dose. But here, they were using 820 times the correct dose. An adult human would have to eat more than half a pound of ashwagandha extract per day just to replicate this. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that when you have studies looking at animals and you have studies looking at humans, it's pretty logical that it's going to be more important to look at the human studies to see how humans are going to be affected. So what happens when we look at studies with ashwagandha and male sexual health and sperm health? This study from 2013 had 21 men taking 675 milligrams a day of a water extract of ashwagandha, split into 3 doses. And there was also a control group of 25 other guys taking a placebo, and this was over 90 days. At the end, the guys who took ashwagandha had a 167% increase in sperm count, a 53% increase in the amount of semen produced, and a 57% increase in sperm motility. The ashwagandha group also had better hormone profiles by the end than the placebo group. Okay, so let's look at another study. This one is from just last year. It's very recent. This one split a group of 50 men with low sex drive into 2 groups. Half of them took 300 milligrams of ashwagandha root water extract twice a day, and the other group took a placebo, and they did this for 8 weeks. The ashwagandha group had a significant improvement in their sexual well-being, according to a questionnaire that they took before and after, as compared to the placebo group. And they also had a much bigger increase in their testosterone levels. So, what should we believe? Should we believe rat studies using insane doses of the wrong kind of ashwagandha extract? Or human studies using normal doses of the right kind of extract? Then the other concern that the Danish had was that because ashwagandha has the potential to increase thyroid hormone levels, it might not be good for people with hyperthyroidism. Now this is a semi-legitimate concern, but I've still got some problems with it. First of all, as far as I know, there hasn't been any research looking at what happens when a human with an overactive thyroid takes ashwagandha. This is all just really based on the fact that ashwagandha is shown to improve thyroid hormone levels in people with an underactive thyroid. But let's go ahead and say that if you have hyperthyroidism, you should err on the side of caution and not take ashwagandha. That's fine. I'm happy to go along with that. I don't know what percentage of Danes have hyperthyroidism, but in the US, it's about 1.3% of people. If something's bad for 1.3% of people, does that mean that it should be banned and the other 98.7% of people shouldn't be able to enjoy the benefits? Something tells me that first we should probably start addressing the toxic ultra-processed foods that are bad for pretty much 100% of people. Now what about the possibility of ashwagandha causing abortions? There's some historical references to it being used for this purpose when taken in huge dosages. But there's also some historical references of it being used in normal dosages to prevent miscarriage. So the traditional knowledge here is a little bit mixed if you don't think about the dosages, and there's no clinical studies to reference here. So in a situation like this, I think the answer is clear. Pregnant and breastfeeding women should err on the side of caution and not consume ashwagandha during this really sensitive time. That's easy. No herb or supplement is going to be perfect for 100% of people through all stages of life. But that doesn't constitute to me a legitimate reason to ban the herb for an entire country's population. While some other Scandinavian and Nordic countries like Sweden and Finland appear to be moving in the same direction as Denmark, unfortunately, on the positive side, most of Europe and the USA don't seem to be following suit. If you enjoyed this assessment, please hit the like button and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Whether you agree or disagree, it's all good. Let's just keep the conversation friendly and civil. And before you go, here's a link to a video that I think you'd enjoy watching next, and here's one the YouTube algorithm thinks you'd enjoy. And there's the link to our website if you'd like to give our top-of-the-line water extract of organic ashwagandha root a try. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time.